Hey, welcome to Chapter 2, Lesson 9. Essential question, what strategies can I use to add and subtract? And today we're working on multi-step word problems. Yay! You can write an equation to help organize and solve multi-step problems. An equation is a sentence that contains an equal sign. Otherwise, it's an operation, showing that both sides of the equal sign are equal. Number 1, the music club had $390 in their account. At the concert, they earned $472. Afterwards, they had to pay $75 to rent the stage and $102 for the rental equipment. How much is in their account now? So I'm going to highlight what we know, because it doesn't give us room to do that writing it out this time. They had $390 in their account. They earned $472, and in fact, I'm going to highlight earned in pink because, whoops, let me undo all that. 390, 472. Earned is a key word because it's going to tell us what kind of operation we need to do. Afterwards is also a key word. They had to pay $75 to rent the stage and $102 for the rental equipment. Okay, and the question is, how much is in their account now? So that's what we need to find out. That's our plan. They wrote an equation, starting amount $390. They earned $472. Earned tells me they got more, so that means I have to add. And then after that, the next step is they paid $75. So subtract $75 from that amount. And then they had to pay $102. So since they paid, we need to subtract that. So when we do all of these things, the order it tells us in the problem, we're going to first add. We're going to get 0 plus 2 is 2. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry that 1 to the hundreds place. 4 plus 3 plus 1 is 8. And now, in order to continue with this long equation they've given us, I need to take this 862 and set it up and try and get those digits to line up, but they've written it so much smaller than I can with my clumsy mouse. Now I've got 2 minus 5. Got to regroup. 6 goes to 5. 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 5. That was messy. 5 minus 7 can't do. 8 goes to 7. 5 becomes 15. And 7. And I took my 787, that was my answer for my first subtraction, put it up top for my last subtraction. And this is nice because there's not as much regrouping. There's not any regrouping. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 0 is 8. And 7 minus 1 is 6. So the account now has $685. After all those things have happened. And in order to check, they estimated, they rounded 390 to 400, 472 to 500, 75 to 100, and 102 to 100. So now we've got 400 plus 500, which is 900. Subtract 100, 800. Subtract another 100 brings it down to 700, which is close to 685. This is close to the actual amount, 685, so the answer is reasonable. Okay, next page. A variable is a symbol, often a letter, that is used to represent an unknown or a number that is not known. Example 2. We're going to use a variable that's written as a letter here. 20 people got on the bus at the first stop. At the second stop, 14 people got off the bus and 5 people got on the bus. At the third stop, 2 people got off the bus and then some people got on the bus. Then there were 24 people on the bus. How many people got on the bus at the third stop? So let's highlight what we know. 14 people got off. 15 people got on. Oops. 20 people got on. Third stop, 2 people got off. And some people got on. That's where we're going to need our variable. Then we know there were 24 people on the bus. Our question is, how many people got on the bus at the third stop? And we can think of our keywords as the first, what happened first, the second stop happened second, and then the third stop, and then. So that tells us the order that things are happening. So the equation, where they see the sum is where they're going to put the variable. It started with 20 people, because 20 people got on the bus at the first stop. 14 people got off, and 5 people got on. 2 people got off, and some got on. And then we know at the end of those, there was 24 people on the bus. So we're going to work through our equation. 20 minus 14. That becomes the top of my next stop equation. 6 plus 5. Now 11 becomes top. 11 minus 2 is 9. And now we know 9 is at the top. And we don't know how many people got on. But we know that when that finished, there were 24 people. So here's our thinking bubble that they've got right here. Since 9 plus b equals 24, we can do basically a check, do the opposite in order to figure out what b is. 24 minus 9. And since I saw this 24 minus 9, I wanted to go back to an earlier strategy that we had talked about, which was making a 10 rounding. 24 minus 10 is 14, so that means 24 minus 9 is going to be 15, since we're taking away one less here. So this is an operation you can do in your head to hopefully make this subtraction something you don't need to write out, and you can do this in your head and be able to get the answer without having to write anything out. But that tells me b equals 15, which is the answer to the problem. So 15 people got on the bus at the third stop. Okay, now you're on your independent work, your guided practice, and your independent. And this is a time when having highlighters can be really helpful because you're going to need to pay attention to different parts of the number. If you don't have highlighters and you're just using your pencil, you can do different marks for the different colors of highlighting, like maybe for the things that you know, you're just going to underline, and those keywords, you're going to circle them, because those are going to help you know what exactly you're going to do. And there's another thing I know. And maybe instead of highlighting, I'm just going to box the question. So I just have a pencil, I'm going to box. But it is important to pick out those features of the problem that you're going to need in order to solve it in some way, so that you focus your attention and you don't get mixed up when you're doing your own problems. So I'd strongly encourage you to use some way to mark out those different things, the keywords that are going to help you with your operation, the information you know, and what your plan is according to the problem. So you refer back to that and make sure that the work you've done makes sense with this answer. And that you should do for all of these word problems. So pay attention. There's the next page, 115. The information you have, those key words that are going to help you solve, and what you need to do in the order that it says. Also, pay attention because when you get down to 4 and 5, you're going to use those variables. And I know that because I see the word some. Some of the jars to make another painting. And here I see a variable in the table. So you're going to have to use variables in 4 and 5. Pay attention to that when you get there. Numbers 6 and 7, it asks to roll a number cube. And number cube is a dice, and dice have 1 through 6. So you can just pick some numbers that are between 1 and 6 in order to be able to complete these. You don't need to go and get a dice. Just pick numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 in order to solve those problems. Number 8 is interesting also because they have the variable right at the beginning. So pay attention to that when you get to number 8. The variable is going to be the very first thing, and you're going to need to work backwards in order to find how much money she started with. So pay attention.